Hey viewers, back at it again doing another weekend project. Today we're going to do something simple, easy, and fixable. We're going to change the front brake pads on this 2009 Mazda 3. Pretty easy job, guys. This is the part number in case you're interested for this specific type of brand. But pretty easy, guys. The first thing we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and lift up the hood so that way we can expose the actual brake reservoir, like so. We're just gonna go ahead and make sure you clean around the reservoir, just to make sure when you open the cap you don't get any type of debris or contaminants. And the reason why I'm gonna go ahead and loosen this up is because when we start compressing see how it should be kind of like a little bit more fuller, but we're gonna go ahead and just make sure you put something around it so that way when we compress the brake pads it doesn't make a mess and could damage your paint. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just leave it like this, and then if you're at home, make sure you put your vehicle on proper jack stands. Remember, guys, safety first. So let me go ahead and lift this bad boy up, and then we'll continue, guys, really quick. Here we go. Alright, guys, so next up, let's go ahead and remove your tire. Alright, okay, once you remove the tire from the vehicle, you're going to go ahead and expose the brake caliper. And one thing you want to do as well before you change the brake pads, you want to take the time to check your rotors. I noticed this rotor has a little run out here at the edge, and I noticed it's seen its better days. So what I'm going to do for the customer, I'm going to go ahead and check the minimum thickness, and if it's within specs, I'm going to go ahead and turn the rotor and do the brake job as well. So let me go ahead and check that out real quick, and then I do want to make sure that when we install the new brake pads, whatever type of scratches the rotor has, it doesn't pass it on to the brake pad. So let me go ahead and talk to the customer and see what she says. Okay, once you have the tire off the vehicle, we're going to go ahead and inspect a couple components. Obviously you have the brake calipers, and also very important, guys, a lot of mechanics do not take this second step a little bit above. You want to go ahead and inspect the actual rotor itself. Again, if you put new brake pads and your rotor's either warped or pretty much has seen its better days, there's no point of putting new brake pads if your rotors are not not up to par. So notice that this rotor has a little lip here on the top, which can affect the brake pad when you install new ones. It could kind of have that impression and leave it to the new brake pad. So what I'm going to do, you guys in for a treat, I'm going to show you how to remove the rotor and also how to install your brake pads. I definitely want to make sure my customer is okay with me doing this. So I'm going to remove this, check the minimum thickness for this rotor. If it's within, I'm going to go ahead and resurface it with my brake lath. If not, I'm going to recommend the customer to get a new rotor installed before I install the brake pads. Again, this is an extra step, but I can tell you it's going to help you out, especially in your braking system if you need to stop suddenly. And it's also going to help with vibration or any type of noises that it makes. So this video is going to turn into a little treat. So let's go ahead and get the brake rotor out, and then we're going to go ahead and get this brake pads installed. So the first thing you want to do, just for the purpose of showing you guys, let me move this inwards so I can show you guys what we're going to do. So the first thing we need to do, if we're going to remove the rotor, let's go ahead and compress a little bit the caliper. So when we do remove it, this little lip here, I'm pretty sure it's going to be stuck here in the inside the brake pad. But let me go ahead and just compress it. All you do is just get a flathead screwdriver, put it in here, and just push it outwards, and you should see a little bit of movement there. Here, let me go ahead and get a bigger screwdriver real quick. Alright, so I got a little bit of leverage here. Again, I'm just sticking this flat screwdriver here in the rotor, and I'm just going to push outwards so that way we can compress a little bit that caliper. So I'm going to do that real quick. Alright, so now we can see a little bit of wiggle movement there. See that? So when we do install the new brake pads, you know, that's going to help us remove the bracket as well. So let's go to the next step. The next step for this vehicle, we're going to go ahead and take out two 17mm bolts that's holding on the brake caliper. I'm sorry, the brake bracket. That's 1 and 2. So let me go ahead and get my impact gun so I can zip those away. Let me do that real quick. Alright guys, here we go. Let's get these 17mm bolts out. That's 1. And here at the bottom, that's 2. Alright. So I'm going to get these out real quick, and I'm going to use a little caliper hanger to hold those in place. And the bolts are the same size, guys, so you don't have to worry about what size they are. So I'm just going to go ahead and just, now that we compress a little bit that caliper, we can remove the caliper and the bracket together. So I'm just going to do that real quick, just loosen it out so it can come out. Also from here, get this out of the way, and it should pop out like so. So let me go ahead and put that hanger here, that way we can go to the next step. Alright guys, I'm just going to go ahead and hang this caliper in here, just to make sure you know, you properly set this, hang it somewhere so that way the brake line doesn't get pulled, because that could definitely break or rip, and that's going to be another job itself. Next step, your rotor should just come out. If it doesn't come out, don't worry about it. Get yourself a nice Thor hammer and just hit it here a couple times, and it should come loose. Alright, let me show you guys this in action. Just be careful not to hit the studs. Once you pound it a couple times, definitely should come out loose. Let's see here. Alright, it's pretty stuck in there. Okay, no worries. I'm going to apply some penetration fluid here and in here, and then we're going to go ahead and pound it one more time. So I'm going to do that real quick. Alright guys, I got the best in the West for y'all penetration fluid. So I'm just going to go ahead and just apply some in here inside the bolts there. Give it a couple, I'm going to give it a couple minutes here to soak. Then we're going to come back and we're going to go ahead and hit it one more time. Some vehicles, they have like a little a bolt that you could, like a little bolt hole you could stick in there, and then you could put it a correct size bolt on either side. You could go back and forth and it'll come out. This one doesn't have one. Like I said, don't worry about it guys. Just go ahead and give it a couple more pounds with your Thor hammer, and make sure it's nicely penetrated with some fluid, penetration oil. Alright, so let me go and give it a couple minutes and then we'll come back. Alright guys, so it's been about maybe 4 or 5 minutes. Let's go ahead and try again. So this time I'm going to go ahead and here on the side, here, and then I'm going to go back and just hit it, tap it on the front. So let me go and do that real quick. and that's just so that way we can kind of knock it loose, whatever rust is built up in there. And then I'm going to go ahead and tap it from the front, and there you go. Easy as that. Now that's become loose, and we can go ahead and take out the rotor. And normally these rotors, again, that's why, see how we put some of that penetration fluid. It basically went inside and kind of got the edges here, and that's where they kind of get stuck. Alright, so let me go ahead and check the minimum thickness on this brake lath. Let me check the minimum thickness on this rotor. Normally has it, I think it has it here. Oh yeah, I don't know if you guys can see it. Minimum thickness, it's 23 millimeters. I don't know if you guys can see that real quick. So you guys close up. 23 millimeters. So let me go ahead and see if I could go ahead and resurface this, and then we'll come back. Alright guys, so to check to see if your rotor meets minimum specs, you will need basically a micrometer to inspect this. Remember, this was 23 millimeters minimum thickness. Let's go ahead and see what where we at with this rotor, and we're gonna go ahead and just measure it like so, and we're at 24.11. So yes, indeed, we have a couple more. We can definitely resurface this rotor, so let's go and do that real quick. Let me go and go outside. And to do this job successfully, what you want to do when you do start to resurface this, you want to go ahead and make sure you clean the outside and the inside. Let's go and do that real quick, just so that way when we put it on the lath, if you have a nice clean surface to hold on to. Whatever type of rust that it builds up, we're going to go and just make sure we kind of even that out. And also get the inside. See how it's nice and smooth. And then we're going to come here, and also we're going to go ahead and see all these rust spots. Going to clean those out. Take the time to do this extra step, guys. If you're using your lath, make sure you get the nice and even like so. There you go. Now we're gonna go ahead and get ready to install the adapters to it. We're gonna do that real quick. Alright guys, let's get ready to get this rotor resurfaced. Alright. Okay, let me find a backing plate. Oh, this is perfect. Alright, I'll put this bad boy in here. And let me get this check install real quick. So let me go ahead and get this disc resurfaced, and then we'll go to the next step, guys. Alright guys, so now that I have my rotor nice and turned, I'm going to go ahead and install the rotor back, and then I'm going to torque it. But before you do, I do encourage you to put some anti-seize just on the outer edges of the hub, so that way in the future, if you do have to replace them, you don't get them stuck. Just a little bit here, not a whole lot. just around the hub itself. Give it a nice layer here, and we should be good to go. Just gonna wipe out the excessive part around it so it doesn't go on the rotor itself. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this bad boy like so, and then I'm gonna go ahead and just place one of these nuts. Hopefully you can kind of hold it in place. Let me see, just enough so I can put that caliper back like so. Alright, now that we have that, I'm just gonna go ahead and put some, clean it up a little bit, some brake cleaner. And the next step, I'm going to go ahead and put the hub. I'm going to go ahead and put the caliper back. Let me take it out here. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and torque the brake bracket to 75 foot-pounds per the service manual. So let me go ahead and get this here like so, and then get the bottom part. So go ahead and torque that to 75 foot-pounds, and then we'll come back, guys. Alright guys, so next step, we're gonna go ahead and remove this little clip. This little clip is basically kind of holding the caliper in place, and it's holding the brake pad as well. That way you kind of have that consistent pressure. So all you're gonna do is just gonna get a flathead screwdriver and just pry this bottom part out like so, and then that should go ahead and release this spring. Okay, so don't forget to install it back. Just put it like this, and then just push this backwards and put this inside of there. Alright, so let's go remove this real quick. And once we have that, we're gonna go ahead and come back here. There's gonna be dust covers protecting the actual bolt that we're gonna remove. One here and one down there. And you're gonna use a 7mm hex for this type of job, and the reason why, let's see if I can show you guys. It's gonna go in here like this. Just gonna go ahead and get this inside like this, and then we're gonna go ahead and start removing that real quick. So let me show you what that looks like. There you go. We're gonna free that bad boy up. You guys. And sometimes it gets pretty gunky and stuck in there, so you're gonna have to kind of fiddle with it a little bit. But this one's coming out with no problem. I'm just kind of holding it and pulling it in place. And this is what it looks like so. Okay, and then this is the hex that I was talking about, the entrance. Alright, so once you have that, and we're gonna do the same on this side. Okay, remember, lefty loosey. Alright, and then once you remove that, this is what the bolt looks like. Now just keep note that they are the same size, so you don't have to worry about which one's which. Okay, so just want to give you guys a heads up on that. And then once you get that out of the way, just gingerly pry it out and it should come out like so. And then we're going to go ahead and just get it out of the way. Like so. And let me get that caliper holder. So I kind of put it out of the way like so. Okay, so this is where we're going to go ahead and remove the brake pads. Pretty easy, guys. Just take them out of the way. See how pretty much old and basically worn out. So go ahead and remove that one. And then for the top one, all you're going to do, you're just going to go ahead and just push up like so. You're just going to go ahead and take them out. Before you do that, I do recommend to compress the caliper back inside. So let me go ahead and put this bad boy back, and then I'm going to show you how to compress this using just your regular compress tool. I'm going to get that inside real quick. Just snap it in the back in place like that. Alright. And then if you have something that looks like this, all you're going to do is just going to go ahead and use this tool to compress it and make sure I put it in place. Alright, so now that we have that tool in here, you're just going to go ahead and just push on it and start to make sure it's nice and vertical, and then you're going to go ahead and twist this, and this is going to compress the piston. That's the reason why I encourage you to open up that brake reservoir on the top. See how the piston is compressing? I don't know if you guys can see that. It's basically compressing it insidewards. So just do that and do this until it bottoms out, and then we'll go to the next step. Alright, doesn't go anywhere else, so I'm just going to go and remove it. Take the tool out, and then you can go ahead and just use your two thumbs, push it up, and you should be good to go. Alright. And the next step we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and clean this with the wire brush, and we're also going to clean this with the wire brush. So let me go ahead and get a wire brush, clean that really good, and then I'm going to go ahead and put some lubrication on these edges, so that way the new brake pads can slide evenly. So I'm going to do that real quick. Alright guys, so again, just make sure you take the time to clean this area here, just because it gets corroded and rust builds up, and you definitely want to make sure that your brake pads slide evenly, nice. And if you can, go ahead and get yourself some really good brake clean. Get that out of the way. You want to go ahead and do the same thing for the top part here. I'm going to go ahead and make sure you get the nice and clean, especially here on the top, just because this is where the pads compress. So make sure you clean this really good with a nice wire brush. Get that all that rust out of there. Alright, gonna let that dry for a little bit. Then we'll go to the next step. Alright guys, so the next step, we're going to go ahead and install the brake pads. Always make sure you compare your brake pads with the ones you take out. Make sure they're a nice fit, same size. That way when you install them, you know you're installing them correctly. So I'm using some Permatex brake parts lubrication. I'm just going to put some here on the top here, and then a little bit on the backing plate. Just a little bit, just so that way you can lubricate it really nice and neat, like so. Just a tiny bit, not a whole lot. And then here on the edges, just because I want to make sure that the metal to metal, I want to avoid any squeaks or any type of things that could affect your brake performance. So then I'm gonna go and just put it in here like so, like that. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing to this one, but the only difference is that I'm just gonna go ahead and put some here on the side. I'll show you where. Just here and here. And I'm going to put some on this top, like so. Here too. And a little bit here on the caliper, like so. Not a whole lot. Alright. Next, I'm going to go ahead and get the caliper, the brake pad. Get you guys a good view. And I'm just going to go ahead and put this in like so. I'm going to go ahead and push down. Just make sure you clean your, let me get new gloves so that way I don't get this contaminated here on the top. I'm just going to snap that into place. Just take your time. Like so. Alright. Now that we snap that in place, everything looks good. We're going to go and install back the caliper. Let me show you what that looks like. Alright guys, so last step, I'm just going to go ahead and get the caliper, and I'm going to slowly turn it. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that this edge and this edge are connected here on this side. Let me show you what that looks like. See that? Now that I know that here on the top part's nice and bottomed out, even here at the bottom it's nice and seated. I'm gonna go ahead and pursue. I'm putting the brake caliper bolts, and I'm gonna put the torque specs up here according to the service manual. Make sure they're nice and clean when you install them, and make sure that the boot is also nice and placed. Okay, so let me go ahead and do that real quick, and then we'll come back. Alright guys, so once you got these torque to 22 excuse me, 22 foot-pounds here at the top and the one at the bottom, Don't forget to put the dust covers back, just because that could protect it from any weather elements, gunk, and corrosion that could happen. Alright, so now that we have that in place, the last thing we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and put back the safety pin. So basically, again, we're just going to go and install it like this. Push this in here. Let's see if I can do this with one hand. Make sure that's inside. Just pull it towards there. Make sure these are nice and seated inside that little hole bracket, and that's going to go ahead and complete the brake job there, guys. And then don't forget, once you do the other side as well, you want to go ahead and before driving off, turn on your vehicle, pump the brake pedal a couple times. On the third time, it should get harder and harder, and then that would help you compress these brake pads where they need to be on both sides. Alright guys, I hope this video helps you out. Thumbs up, subscribe, comment if you like. Thank you for watching, and like always, have a blessed rest of your day. Take care.